Oh, I tagged him with a grenade, my bad.
Among Us.
I hate that he does it every time now. I gotta
Among Us. Among Us.
He's done it again.
You don't have a steady hand.
Yeah.
I hate it here.
I wish the spider would just come down here and kill me. Just get it over with. A what?
Were you dead to a coil head?
My powers have doubled since the last time we met at night. I'm dead.
It's the Krusty Krab.
No, this is Patrick.
Bitch, I'm gonna find you and kill you.
Because I don't want him to die.
Kill me.
No, get away from him! No, get away! That's just disrespectful.
Oh, he's dead!
I want to see how much this does. If it actually can hit. Okay, I didn't take damage that time. Ow. Can I tongue this fish? No! Oh! Bro. After everything I've done.
Oh shit!
It can't be for nothing. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Oh, okay. So we're just gonna have our friend help us out here, huh? You can fly, by the way. Oh my god!
Hello, everyone. How are you, fellas? Man, I was not planning on watching the Mr. Beast drama tonight, but it is literally about to drop within like 10 minutes. I knew it was coming at some point this week. I thought maybe it would be tomorrow, but no, it's tonight. So I'm planning on watching that, but if it gets to the point where I feel like it's too much to be watching live, I do have my watch later playlist that I've kind of had a few videos just like that I'll add here and there. I have 18 other videos we could watch instead. You're not very keyed in as to the exacts. Basically, Chris Tyson from Mr. Beast has been caught having inappropriate conversations with minors, has a Discord with very degenerate stuff in it. Mr. Beast was in there apparently because you can see that the account was linked, and it was like his Mr. Beast gaming account, so like the only person who could do that is Jimmy, unless it was somebody else using that account's name, which I don't think is true. There's accusations of illegal lotteries, and then there's the Beast games, and it seems like there's just a lot of coercion and cover-ups within the company. And this guy worked there for about 2 months, and he's just basically going scorched earth on them. Now, we don't know the full extent as to why he was fired, I don't think. And a lot of people initially were questioning his credibility because he often jokes about like, oh, you know, like I was on shrooms or I'm on meth as I'm writing this post or whatever, which I think is actually a really bad look for him. But I think the fact that he's using a bunch of public record stuff, like he's using videos of the crew, he's using links and things like that. The one thing he didn't talk about in his last video that he did, which was like 54 minutes, was the Beast Philanthropy channel, and I think he's going to get into that tonight. because I think he tweeted something about Team C's and how it didn't really actually do what they said it was set out to do. So I'm very curious to know to what extent he's going to be talking about the philanthropy channel tonight, if at all. But he has said that he will eventually have an entire video about Chris Tyson, or Ava Chris, whatever. That because he has said like all of that was coming out as he was making the last video, so he might even get into that tonight. That's why I said, hey, tonight might get a little bit more intense than my typical thing. But I do. Where's my window capture? Why is it not here? Hold on. Here. I do have this playlist of videos that we just never watched. Some of these I found over the last few days and I added, but like we are waiting on this like to premiere in like 7 minutes, and his chat over here has been going nuts, and people are commenting. They're saying, remember, this guy's not suicidal, their team must be panicking. Like it's pretty rough. So that looks like a bunch of people just copy pasting Feast on the Beast, but like there are other messages in there. And I don't know, there's been a lot of people who have been kind of waiting to see something like about Mr. Beast coming out, because there's been rumors and murmurs for years about him being a pretty intense boss. And I literally just shared an email that Keemstar posted in my Discord. I guess I can show that here. Hold on. Let me open this in my browser. It'll be easier to show you, I guess. You found a person trying to create a Mr. Beast diss track. Oh, I'm sure that'll be good. Is it Pack God? But yeah, this is the email that Keemstar tweeted out, and it's actually in the thumbnail here of this video, so it is real. It looks like this is what they said. I wanted to update you all on the recent concerns that have been raised online and in the press. As I mentioned in my tweet a couple of weeks ago, we've hired Quinn Emanuel, a top-tier law firm, to do a full investigation of the Ava Tyson allegations. We also asked them to expand the scope to include a full assessment of our internal culture and to investigate allegations of inappropriate behavior by people in the company. While the process is not complete, I have enough preliminary information at this point that I am announcing several changes today. As your leader, I take responsibility, and I am committed to continue to improve and evolve my leadership style. While I have been mostly focused on creating content, launching Feastables, building our community, and leading our philanthropic efforts, I recognize that I also need to create a culture that makes all our employees feel safe and allows them to do their best work. You should have been doing this beforehand. Like this should have been your biggest priority before building things like Feastables and your philanthropic efforts. I think I like, if you don't have a culture where people feel safe at work, like that's a problem, you know. Like, I don't know, like you'd think that they would have covered all of this, but from what I can tell just watching the Mr. Beast crew, it feels like a boys club that got super big. And it feels like one of those things where it's like, who cares? It's just the dudes hanging out. You know, we're going to keep that mentality no matter how big we get. And eventually, I think you cross a point where you have to run it way more business oriented, especially once you start hiring a bunch of people. Like it can't maintain that type of attitude. It's just me. To start off, we will be hiring a new chief human resources officer. We will be bringing in a seasoned leader to help us build a more inclusive environment and a world-class HR team. You're the biggest YouTuber in the world. You have like 308 million subscribers. Like, you should have a good HR team already. Like, when you think about the amount of money that his company makes, they should just have a good HR team by this point. We are implementing mandatory training sessions on safety, sexual harassment, LGBTQ, diversity, sensitivity training, and workplace conduct for all employees. You should be doing that. Yes, I agree. That's good. Listening sessions. Jeff will be holding listening sessions across the company to hear directly from employees about their experiences and ideas for improvement. Good. Anonymous reporting. We are establishing an anonymous reporting mechanism to ensure everyone feels safe coming forward with concerns. This should be a thing in every company, like, ever. Like, anonymous reporting, I think, is great, and especially when you probably have, I would assume he has at least 200 to 300 people working for him. Between editors, camera grips, people who work in like food banks, things like that. Like, he has to have a lot of people working for him. I don't know. But external review, we have engaged an independent firm to conduct a thorough review of our policies and practices and implement changes. So that one is interesting to me, because I wonder if the external reviewers will question the legality of some of the stuff they've been doing. Because, like, if you look back at Dogpack's original video, he talks about like the illegal lotteries and like the Beast Gaming and whether or not some of that stuff is legal. Like giving away prizes or changing things in the middle of the challenge or whatever. Like, it's a pretty big deal. So it's one of those things where, like, you probably should have third-party review to make sure your videos are all on the up and up. And it feels like a lot of this is just kind of common sense. You should have it and not need it, then need it and not have it type of situation. But I don't know. Like, I'm not the leader of this company. At least he's saying something. And granted, this wasn't meant to be distributed, but hey, it's out there already. Like, if Keemstar's tweeting it, like, I don't think it's going to be a big deal that I'm reading it. I want to let you know I am optimistic about the company's future, and I appreciate all your contributions. We are seeing many examples of your hard work, as we recently became the first channel to surpass 300 million YouTube subscribers. Our last 2 main channel videos were our fastest growing in the history of the company, and our philanthropic work continues to positively impact our community and our planet. So yeah, your video is growing fast, but it's also getting a lot of criticism because you guys haven't really said anything over the last couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that we get an actual public statement from Jimmy again soon. In summary, I am fully committed to seeing the investigative process through and acting on the recommendations. We will circle back and share our learnings and any necessary changes. Thank you for your continued teamwork and dedication to our mission and our community. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or Jeff directly. Jimmy. Okay, so this came from Mr. Beast himself. I think these are all good things to be implementing. I feel like it would definitely be through Twitter. Twitter is like considered basically public square. It looks like the video should be premiering any second now. It's probably going to be the 2-minute timer. Yeah. So I'm going to put this in full screen so we aren't looking at this chat, because it'll be kind of distracting. But we don't really know what he's going to say in this video. I think I have a pretty good idea. It's probably going to be charity fraud. It's probably going to be stuff about Ava Chris Tyson. I'm going to do my best to not pause too much, but I might have to respond to certain things. Like, I feel like sometimes he focused on certain things that aren't that important. Like he said, Mr. Beast doesn't fake anything in his videos, and then he would talk about like CGI or like a pet raccoon. That stuff doesn't matter to me as much, but I get why he did it. It was to slowly build the snowball that's like irrefutable proof of a problem. I hope that he heard some of the criticism and takes this second part a lot more seriously in terms of criticizing Mr. Beast. I don't want him to come on here and be acting like he's on drugs like he did at the beginning of his last video, because it does make him appear questionable. And if this ends up going to court because he's gotten cease and desist letters over this sort of thing, you can bet that whatever lawyer the Mr. Beast company has is a pretty good one, and it will definitely be used against him, and they can be like, well, see, how can a jury take you seriously if you're admitting to using drugs or trying shrooms or smoking weed or all these other things? I don't know. I would say if he cuts back on that and he just says what needs to be said, it'll be a lot better for him. Oh, here we go.
Hey, what the hell happened to you? Mr. Beast, that's what happened to me.
What we do here is go back.
Oh, it's a content cop. Okay. We're really leaning into that, all right. Acting on erratic shrooms.
Content cop from Timu, back at it again. So just before I get into my interrogation with former Mr. Beast employee Jake Weddle, a lot has happened since my last video. After posting like hundreds of messages from former Mr. Beast employees, and I had them all like send proof of former employment. You know, just people showing their support or telling their stories.
Can you guys hear it okay?
Videos, or unsafe practices, toxic workplace, stuff like that. I'm not really going to get into those claims because, for one, like, most people want to stay anonymous, which I understand.
Hold on.
And also, like,
can I go back? No, forget it.
Covered with the news coming out.
It's too late. I should have paused.
And also, I have like more serious allegations that I want to start covering. Also, I heard from a very credible source that Mr. Beast has been sitting on a response to part 1 because he was worried if he posted it, I would instantly respond with part 2. You know, like this is Kids Bop, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. Also,
oh God!
Mr. Beast's secret CEO has been practically like harassing my people on, hey, what's in part 2? What does he know? So I will just tell you, James, what will be in part 3, so you don't have to harass my people. It will be about serious allegations of sexual misconduct in the company and your direct involvement in covering up those crimes.
Allegedly.
And I'll make sure to give you full credit and plaster your face all over the screen when we talk about that. So yeah, I've gotten dozens of messages from former Mr. Beast employees of very serious allegations. So I just want to put a call to action at the start of this video that, if you have a story, you can DM me. Just make sure you send proof of employment first, because I get a lot of DMs. And like, as much as I meme and joke around, like, I take anonymity very seriously. So without explicit permission, I don't go public.
Okay, that's a really good thing for him to say.
If it goes to court, I would hope they would censor your information from the court documents. I don't know. And former contestants too. That's another thing I heard after posting my last video is during the 100 Boys versus Girls video, I have people corroborating the same story that the camera guy who gave the girls a drone was making some girls feel uncomfortable. You trap these girls in a circle and make them sleep on rough turf and get them high on paint fumes, and then you try to f them.
Okay, that seems really dark.
No, it's not dark. You're misunderstanding me, bro.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are. Because if the girl said no, then the answer obviously is no. But the thing is she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
Anyway, so that will be part 3. So, Mr. Beast, do with that information what you will. I know Chucky didn't want to respond to those allegations. So anyway, my interview with Jake Weddle, I chose to interview him because I thought he was perfect because he was both on camera and behind the scenes in 2019 and 2020. And also, what people don't know is that he came back in 2021 to be the sole contestant of a Mr. Beast video, which never got uploaded because it went very badly.
Oh, okay, that'll be interesting.
Portable document format, who was working at Mr. Beast while actually on the registry. And I'll get more into that story at the end of the video. So I got his DM, drove straight to New York overnight, did not sleep, just drank a bunch of caffeine, and I also only had one microphone in the interview, which he's wearing. So it's mostly just him talking. Also, like, final thing, people said my last video started slow. This video also starts slow. It builds up over time. But I'll do the retention thing and say, the ending will blow your mind. It's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Jake Weddle, everybody.
I'm Jake Weddle. Most people who, if you know me from Mr. Beast, I'm a deep cut. I'm in a few of the videos.
I remember that one.
Maybe purposefully kept in the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor a lot of the time. But I've been in some videos. I've worked on a lot of them. I was there from 2019 to 2020, 2021-ish when I came back and did some more. I was there when they were authentic, and then I saw the transition to what I feel like is a company. He's like a TV show now. It went from YouTuber guy with the camera to Amazon. The culture around there was very unspoken, but there was a vibe. There was half the people who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and were usually moved up, had more screen time. And then there was people who, if you had a disagreement or butt heads with Jimmy or just you didn't like it, you were the other half. And I consistently was in the half that Jimmy doesn't like me. That's fine. I don't like him either. It's okay. That's just something to say. I don't like Jimmy. I hate you so much. He didn't want anyone to get more popular or have more of a way out necessarily. Like, oh, I'm doing my Twitch thing on the side. Don't do that because you could get famous and leave and talk about me negatively.
Explain Carl then.
I could tell that the yes men were, doing well, and I was, disgruntled for quite some time. So I've talked to reporters, right, like publicly, and I've always had to choose my words very, very carefully because I don't want to say anything I don't stand behind, obviously. So I used to talk to people. I used to glaze Jimmy publicly for things I do genuinely think are true. But then it's like, well, how come you didn't talk about the work you do? Well, I wanted a career. I didn't want to, speak ill of YouTube's golden boy and then I'm blacklisted forever. I tell people I was talking to you, and they go, "Don't, what are you doing? You're going to kill your career." It's like, I have to or I'll be sad. If this is the moment, we're going to talk about it. So as far as that, that's my covering up the why we didn't talk about XYZ sooner, but now you know.
What would you say is the fakest video that you worked on while you were there?
Fakest video that I worked on while I was there. This is the extent of the fakeness that I was involved to. This is admitting to my complicity. I was a writer there, and we were working on a video, crushing my friend's car with a rock or meteor or something. It was a rock or meteor in the title of it, I can't remember, but he wanted to do a prank where, unbeknownst to the person, he takes a rock, crushes their car.
This is when Marcus was still there, I think.
Out of space.
We're gonna take a meteor and we're gonna put it on Weddle's car. We're gonna take another meteor and put it on Marcus's car.
Yeah.
Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Weddle and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
This is like a 2018 video, yeah.
Time I had to, my car? What? And on the fly, I saw him, because Marcus was in that video. So Marcus is calling his mom. Marcus genuinely had no idea. He genuinely had no idea. But so Marcus is calling his mom, and his mom's freaking out. And I'm like, oh no, they're gonna call my mom next. So I had to text my mom, who had to beg to get the title very quickly. Now I'm texting my mom. I go, Mom, I'm about to call you about the meteor thing. You have no idea? Be surprised. And then I hit send, and then they go, call your mom now. And I call my mom and I tell her, and oh, she should have got the Oscar. Oh my God, on the fly, she goes, what?
Do you have that
I'm
text?
On vacation. Mom, my car has been destroyed.
Wait, what?
A meteor hit it.
Jacob, I'm on vacation. Do you understand?
Yeah, I did that video, and they're supposed to give me $10K to put a down payment on a new car, and they wanted me to get like a big, flashy new car. $10K was supposed to be a down payment. And I can't afford a big flashy new car because I work at Mr. Beast. So I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the taxes on. I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the insurance on. So I do my part of the video, and I get a mom van that I could afford. And Jimmy was like, "Why didn't you get a cooler car?" I was like, I can't afford that, bro. Come on, what are you talking about? If I was working on a TV show in the 90s, on a show that was a quarter as successful, I could retire today. But now I make dog shit pay, making gajillionaires more money. And I just walked into the writer's room, and that's one of the reasons why I left.
So he had to do the car video.
Asked for,
is that what he's saying? He was forced into it, and they destroyed his car?
A salary that was more proportional to the work I was doing, given how much revenue that work was doing. And then, I talked about that, and I talked about the Writers Guild and how this is what the Writers Guild industry standard is for the streaming internet content with ads. I thought that was the closest thing to YouTube, and I didn't even bring up residuals, because oh my God, if I got residuals for every video I worked on, boy, howdy, I could retire. But,
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, the other thing I talked about was there was another writer there, older comic, black guy.
How would you determine residuals and writing for a YouTube video?
He was older than me, had a child. We're doing the exact same job.
It's a whole different medium than, say, a streaming service like Amazon Prime.
One of the things I didn't like about the way some of the V stuff shook out was I feel really guilty about the way this like shook out. Yeah, I was talking to this other writer, like it's fucked up, you know, that's how the pay is, and I want you to get paid more, you know, because you deserve to get paid more. You know, I don't have a kid. And he didn't want to rock the boat. He desperately didn't want to rock the boat. He's just, I like my job. I like, you know, because when you grow up with, you know, nothing, not to say that he did, but I know I did, you know. You get a little something, you don't want to lose it. So he didn't want to rock the boat. But he said, hey man, if that's how you feel, you know, like if that's like, I trust you. He stood with me. He went to that meeting with me. And I said my piece, and he backed me up. And I said, I need XYZ or I'm out of here. And they said, bet. And they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance check the next day. And if I knew he was going to lose his job too, I wouldn't have done it.
I mean,
me, I was over the moon. I was like, you're gonna give me a check and I get to leave? You know, I don't get the deal with the you know, how many Orbeez can I fit up my asshole every day? You know, and I get to go home and you're gonna pay me to leave. I was over the moon.
That's what I would do if I was them.
He did not want.
It's easier to fire people or let them go if they're not happy.
And I really
but that does suck.
But you know, me and him are really still tight. We're still good friends.
Is he doing good?
Yeah, he's doing good. He's a good guy. I love that guy. He's doing good. Yeah.
So maybe you feel better?
Honestly, best thing I could have done for him. Now that he's very, very far removed from all this crazy shit, I guess.
Do you think Jimmy really enjoys
But he went back.
helping people?
I think Jimmy wants to be the best YouTuber. I think he is laser focused on one goal.
He's always said that.
Whatever he has to do to achieve that goal, he'll do. And I think it was the smartest decision for him that he calculated, because he's very good with numbers. If I donate to charity, people can't say I'm shitty. If I give this homeless guy 10K, what do you mean I'm a bad guy? But I've always thought, if you're gonna do something nice for somebody, and you stick a camera in their face while you do it, you didn't do a nice thing for somebody. You gained something. There was a homeless guy on the street, and you saw an opportunity for yourself.
I would counter that.
And you
doing so is a net positive for both parties.
And now the revenue you generated from that video.
It's shitty, but that's what people would. That's what his defenders will say.
It's the least authentic thing in the world. There's an element of, you know,
but I do agree.
Crying. That's so good for camera. You know, I'm so glad he's. If you're crying because you're so thankful that you got XYZ, and then you go, I'm so glad he needed it that bad, so I could come in and can you cry more? Oh, it's so good for the camera if you could. Oh, it made me uncomfortable that I was working there, and I didn't like it, and I vocalized it sometimes.
It sounds like reality TV meets YouTube.
As much as they said I was going to be. I was told at one point that I was going to be like fourth banana, you know, it was going to be Jimmy, Chris, Chandler, me, you know, and then that never happened. I remember talking about
I could see that.
My contract said XYZ. And then I got the severance checks. So
he was very popular in like 2019.
How was your relationship with the company? I know you appeared in videos after that, right?
Right. So in videos where
he came back for like the hide and seek video.
That's why you keep nice publicly. If you're nice in public, hey, Jake was nice in public. Let's have him back for something.
Water under the bridge, yeah.
So I was hoping they call back, you know, and I appeared in some videos after I left. I think one of them was 3 days at a maximum security prison.
Mm-hmm.
If I did do mini challenges in that, I got paid. I was, you know, clocked in with a rate, and I would get paid and compensated for those. But there was one video I was in. I got paid a lot for it, but it didn't come out. It didn't come out because it didn't go well. There was a video that came out probably like a year ago, something like that. It got a lot of hot water when it came out. It was the like surviving like $10,000 every day you survive in solitary or surviving solitary for whatever. It was like one of those solitary confinement videos that got a lot of media attention because everyone saw the premise and thought, what?
Yeah, he would do stuff like that a lot. And he would do it himself and then ask people to do similar stuff. There was one.
The first attempt was on me.
Oh.
And it didn't go well.
Okay.
I was already planning on moving to New York, and I worked at a couple of YouTube companies after Beast, and I had a little bit of change in my pocket, the most change I had in my pocket ever. Small potatoes, compared to Beast bullshit, but I thought I had enough to move to New York or whatever. And I get a call from somebody over there, and they go, "Hey, they want you for a video." I was like, "Oh, amazing, great, cool, thank God." What's the video? And they tell me the pitch. They try to make the pitch sound like it's going to be like a walk in the park. The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement, but don't worry, like you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. They're pitching it like at first it's going to be like a luxury vacation. You're going to have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine and like part of the video.
I've seen the other video of this because the guy proposes to his girlfriend at the end of the video.
They were like, it's only going to be bad for me to last.
And it's like 30 days.
You have like nothing left. The first, it's going to be like a breeze for most of it.
They would take one thing away every single day. He would have to choose what to get rid of.
$300,000 because it's $10,000 a day. And I don't know, man. I grew up poor in North Carolina. I said, excuse me? I'll dance for you if you put that kind of money in my face, sure.
Sure.
They were like, you're going to be locked in this room, and we got to make sure you're on all the time. We're going to have cameras on you all the time, and you're perfect for this because you never shut the fuck up. On paper, I was like, okay, I can do this. And they always cut me out of the videos. They always, and I was, editors have told me that it's because you have too much of a personality. And so with this video, I thought, this is perfect. It's a video they can't cut me out of. I'm the guy. And so I thought, well, if I have to do this, if I have to do solitary confinement in order to do the things I want to do, then I will do that. That I held my tongue and I swallowed my pride and I tried to do one last ride. And I get there. And at first it's fine. And they had just freshly painted the set. You could smell it, Which that's probably not good, the smell of fresh paint in your surroundings for the next XYZ time. It looked good on the visual. It looks good on camera. It's movie magic bullshit. It was a terrible facility. It was in one of the studios. They had to get a separate tank for septic stuff. There was a hot tub in it. There was an ice cream machine. Things were cool and funny on paper, but when you think about stuff. A hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system. Give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. If there's not a hot water mechanism, so the hot tub was a lukewarm tub at best, which was a silly complaint, but the shower was always cold, and you're taking a quick shower, and I had cameras.
This is all really good points that I've never thought of.
And the ice cream machine, let's talk about that for a second. The ice cream machine has 2 modes. On, and off. Reeking of smelly dairy, mildew,
rotten milk mix.
So I got to choose which sense was assaulted at a time. I couldn't have all of them good. So the little things started to build up. There was the bug thing wasn't terrible, but it was a factor. And at first it was fine, and you're playing it up because it's a video, and it got to a point where they weren't turning the lights off. I asked them, I said, can we have nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what? Me sleeping? Or me not sleeping? Yeah, I saw in other videos they did you're going to get XYZ hours of sunlight.
You could do time-lapses of just...
I don't know how they figured that one out.
One day or 2 days, and let him have nighttime. That's a pretty reasonable ask.
No access to the clock. I don't know, The lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But
that would drive me nuts too.
I had good people looking out for me. I had a lot of good people looking out for me saying, this, we gotta stop. So I just wanted to turn the lights off. And I'm vocalizing to people, I wish the lights would turn off. And I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing. So, you know.
I doubt that Mr. Beast and his crew were looking up the Geneva Convention when making this video.
You know,
but yeah, that's
Jimmy
pretty
would
bad.
come in, like every other day for like an hour, you know, to check in on me because he's doing other stuff. You know, I'm just the guy in the cage over here.
Got like 8 other videos going on, yeah.
And so he'd come by, he'd get the shots, he'd leave. Sometimes he'd have a note from the director over the phone that would really piss me off. This is the note I got from the director, from Jimmy, when I'm receiving some cash. He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans? You know how hard it was to do a take of that? And pretend to make it genuine? I don't want to have student loans. I don't want to be in a cage. But Jimmy's the guy with the money, and if you do what he says, he'll do what you want. You want your student loans paid off? You'll be in this cage. And you have power over people. When one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it. I needed it, of course. And just something about like having the cameras on me all the time. Like I was.
You're like a dancing monkey.
But we were filming a video.
Constantly having to perform, yeah.
Funny, you know. I'm a dark comic. You know, I got bits about. I had a very traumatic life. I have my dad is in jail for sexual assault of a minor. You know, so this kind of stuff is very near and dear to my heart. You know, I don't fuck around with this shit. Yeah, I have jokes about that in my act. You know, I joke about it because that's what you do in a traumatic experience. You know, abusive relationships. I get out of it. The first thing I do is I do a type I'm about it. You know, so I'm in this situation where my mental health is not good. My physical health is getting worse. But we're filming, so I'm doing bits. I'm talking to the camera, and I'm being, you know, like, hey, it's been a couple days. I'm not doing so hot, you know. Which, if I'm filming a video, that's what I should be doing for the camera. But it was too real. If they're faking videos, why couldn't we fake this one? You know, if we're allowed to let these cast members have some time off of this difficult challenge, how come we couldn't turn the lights off? How come we couldn't maybe not have some time-lapse footage for 10 seconds?
Did you try to get out?
Yes! I was starting to calculate, I don't know if I could do 30. How much can I, well, how can I manage to get out of here sooner and still have a video and still have some cash and get the plug, man. I did. Since we're doing time-lapse shots, and since they insisted on time-lapse shots, I said, all right, we're gonna do time-lapse shots, bet. I put my YouTube on with the whiteboard they gave me. And I was like, all right, yeah, go ahead and scrub that footage. You know, you got that whiteboard. Oh no, either that goes in, or this footage is unusable, and then, you know, James Warren came in and erased it, you know, fucking, you know, don't put that, hey, we can torture him, don't you dare let him get a plug in there, you know? Like, we were playing up the joke, you know, it's like, I'm the boy in the cage, you know, whatever. Like, I'll play into a joke, whatever, it's fine. There's just something weird about when Jimmy jokes. I have jokes about my dad, because I love jokes with my dad. I'll joke with my dad all the time. That guy's a piece of shit. I hate my dad. But I have friends that make fun of my dad. That's fine, because I know their intent. I know where they're coming from. And when Jimmy joked with my dad, and I sometimes seem weird. I don't like it. We were doing that one of those hide and seek videos again. You know, at the time they were a lot realer. So I got caught, and when you get caught, you know, you go to the
little cabin in the middle, yeah, and they put you in the little jail.
I don't know if, yeah, I definitely didn't make the final cut. But he says to me, all right, you're going to jail, you know, like your dad. And like, it's a joke. But when my friends do it, it's fine. And Jimmy wasn't my friend. He was my boss. And that wasn't cool. And so now, I'm locked in a cage at his whim. And I have to do things to get the cash I need to live. And I got these cameras on me all the time. And I was unwell. I had editors coming up to me saying, "You good, bud?" And I was like, "Yeah, why? You're clearly unwell." And he goes, "Well, because the footage you're sending in is haunting. Because I'm trying to be funny, but I am mentally decaying, so I'm doing bits." Someone said there is a horror cut of a video in this. And I'm sitting like, who's watching this? Like, who wants to see this? What is fun about this, the video?
The hide and seek, or the...
That made me want to, I gotta get out. I can't do another
Or
game
the, okay, it's the solitary one.
I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is. It's like 2 or 3 or whatever. He's like, "Why is he sleeping?" I don't know, because I can't sleep. And he comes in, he wakes me up. And he goes, "Ask me why I have 2 briefcases." And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, "Oh, because this one's for today, you know, and this one's for the challenge." And I go, "What's the challenge today?" He goes, You're gonna run a marathon. You're gonna do the 22.6K, whatever it is.
What?
You're gonna do it on that treadmill over there. The first challenge I did was a Rubik's Cube, and I'm dyslexic. I'm dumb. I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube. So your first challenge, Rubik's Cube. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." I was like, "On camera, I don't want to do that." You go, "Just do it for the thing." Like, kid, you know? Like, there was an element of, oh, Jake will do what we want because he's in house. You know, that's one of the reasons why they got me. Jake's, he's an inside guy, so he'll do whatever. We can push him a little extra hard because we know he's good. I couldn't say no to the treadmill thing. Yeah. So I people who run marathons train forever, and it's still hard. Again, writer. Do I look like I run? I don't run, you know? Let alone a marathon, let alone have to train for it. So I was in a...
That's like super evil, dude.
You know,
Did you try to say no? Like, did you have a choice, or?
based on the Rubik's Cube thing and based on all the other stuff, like there was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know? And if I refuse, it's just, well, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing. And so I wanted to be a good sport, and I wanted to get the boost, and I wanted the cash, and so I started running at 12. I was able to take some breaks, and I asked him, "How long do I have?" He goes, "Until I get back."
Well, how long is
And I
that?
run until 3 a.m. When I got off the treadmill, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red. I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid. I got off the treadmill, and then the people that came in to like ice my feet, make sure I was good. Then that's when I was like, I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. And that's when I get the psych in, and I talk to the psych about how I'm not well, and like I said, there was a lot of good people over there that was saying, "You got to pull him out." Yeah, I had friends that did some freelance work, and they would tell me, they'd be like, "Yeah, everyone knows you over there. Everybody loves you." And they go, "Oh, Jake Weddle, love that guy. Shame what happened to him." Like I'm a ghost.
Jesus Christ.
I said, "How much longer are you guys going to keep me in here?" And the guy goes, "Realistically, like at least 7 more days."
Oh my God.
No. And they didn't let me leave right away either. They wanted to make sure, everything was fine. So I, slept for a while. They turned the lights off. And it's like they brought in all my friends, to make it.
They do that in the other ones too, where after like 10, 15 days, they'll bring
They brought in all the people I liked.
like family and friends
And Jimmy.
to like motivate you to keep going.
And everybody was around me, making sure I was good, making sure I was okay. But Jimmy had his he was sitting in the chair turned around like an evil villain. Swear to God, everyone was looking at me, and he was like Lex Luthor over there. He turns around, he stands up. He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. You know when you're watching a video and he's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he like touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just... I didn't have to pretend to do that shit. She says, as if rehearsed by his lawyers. Yeah, you know, your mental health's the most important thing. You know, I just want to make sure you're okay. And the last thing we want you to do is...
I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S. She just stopped right before it got out.
I did not get the 300K. What I got, he goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You know, you were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges.
He probably
so
can't say what he got,
you know,
or he's about to.
100,000 some change, you know, give or take. You know how much money I spent in taxes in 2021? I spent $44,000 in taxes alone. And now I spent all that money on doing stand-up. I bought plane tickets to go do comedy festivals. You know, my family back home, I gave them a bunch of stuff that they needed. And haven't been back on a Beast set in any official capacity or unofficial capacity since then. And then they did the video with somebody else, and they worked out.
This guy has been telling his story about working with Mr. Beast, and he's talking about how he did one of those locked in a asylum videos, and it's pretty rough. He talked about how like he would have to do different challenges.
Text that Jake sent me after this interview. This is July 29, 2021, a few days after he got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep, even a few days out, but I almost had my...
They wanted him to run a marathon in the middle of that video on a treadmill, and he had to like do a Rubik's Cube and all sorts of other stuff on top of being in the room, and they wouldn't turn the lights off so he could properly sleep.
But I've gotten back on better help. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on things. I know this is not supposed to be a traumatic life event. This is supposed to be a
YouTube video.
Hey Jake, hope you're doing okay. Meg and I just wanted to check in on you. Hey, I'm good and I appreciate that. I'm not exactly 100%. I feel like mentally I'm still recovering a bit, but back in therapy and my therapist is concerned. Haha, well my legs and joints feel better, like I can walk, but my feet are still covered on those blisters and those hurt to walk on. But I was told the best thing to do is stay off my feet and let them heal. I'm in Raleigh with my family. Also, it'll be like a month before I get the money, and they aren't giving me all the money. They're giving me what I want up to that
He
point.
got 10K per day, so he said about 100K and change.
Therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing was so fucked, and honestly, fuck them for not giving you the money. Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery, and please feel free to reach out if you need anyone to talk to or need a place to crash in New York. Hope you're doing well, man. That video you uploaded is money. So good. I appreciate. I'm doing better physically. Mentally, I'm still kind of in a place. I still can't sleep. I've slept 5 hours in the past 3 days, marathon included. I don't know what's wrong with me. Lots of thinking, too much one might say. Hope they're taking care of you where they can. I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't pay me for the full 25, 30 days. They paid me what I made up to that point. Like even when we have to pull the plug for my mental health, the mechanism of the game is still at play. I'm just happy to be out. I still can't walk well, but it hurts less. And like, I'm not famous enough to burn a bridge. So at the end of the day, I'm still Jimmy's bitch. Like if I was Carl and he did that to me, I'd ruin him. And they want to do it again. That could be your leverage. If the guy breaks down also, 2 is better than 1. Yeah, right. I told them everything they did to me that they can't do again in order to make sure the other person doesn't break down as fast. But like, the way the video is meant to function is the problem. It's a bad idea, full stop. It sounds clickbaity, sounds right up Jimmy's alley, but it's morally unethical like on every level. Off-camera breaks, lights off at night, visitation, take the marathon out. Marathon is a video in itself. You can't expect someone to exert themselves like that for 45 seconds of content. The challenges really made it feel dehumanizing. It felt like a parody of Mr. Beast. I felt like the homeless guy they could exploit. It felt like Jeff Bezos had a gimp. It felt like if Jeff Bezos had a GIMP. Part of me wants the footage burned, and part of me thinks that there's a great horror cut in there. LMAO, he was so fake when he came in and said he cared about my mental health. They must have programmed the care about mental health updates. He said, we also don't want you to, and I swear to our Lord and Savior, he stopped himself from saying sue.
That's pretty
Also, as far as,
consistent
like,
with what he said.
He could have said no. He could have left at any time. I want to show this.
It's been rough, man.
Internal document at Mr. Beast called "How to Succeed in Mr.
A
Beast
former
Production."
contestant was
This is
interviewed
on
by
page
him.
19, there's a paragraph called "No does not mean no." Already insane, because it's sort of, it seems to be co-opting the popular anti-slogan, which is a terrible look given the allegations that are going to be coming out very soon. It reads, when dealing with people outside Mr. Beast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you can call the local Dollar Tree, and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if they are fans.
That was the wrong beer can.
That are fans. Try talking to their boss's boss. Have you DM them on Twitter, and try their social team. If all avenues are exhausted and you are left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically, what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through no. Don't stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many tools that, when combined, dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. So
That's
this
a
idea of
problem.
like pushing through no's is a big component to working on Mr. Beast. And the way that it manifests itself a lot of the time is like a director might tell a producer, hey, we need access to 30 acres of farmland by Tuesday or we lose $500,000. Now, if you're the producer, you obviously know that means get it done or you lose your job. So what can happen is like a producer's calling up farmers saying, hey, I need to use your land. And the farmer might be like, okay, but, you know, I have animals, you can't be making really loud noises, no pyrotechnics, and you got to clean everything up. So the producer's sort of incentivized to lie and say, or maybe the producer doesn't even actually know the total contents of the video, right? Things changed last second. So they're they're financially incentivized to be manipulative, and sort of, they're put in positions where it's like, oh, it's either the producer's job or a civilian's job, like where it talks about, hey, maybe the manager would be willing to bend the rules. Well, you shouldn't really be pressuring civilians to bend the rules that could get them fired, you know? I'll show you a real life example. This is unused evidence from part 1. I had seen this Reddit post titled Mr. Beast Leaving Trash Behind and Debris at Film Site in Aden, North Carolina. Apparently he left a large boat in a pond as well as debris around the film site in the bottom of the pond.
I think that's the one where they were like, shoot a boat
rendered it unsafe for campers
with like
and almost delayed the camp's opening.
a bunch of cannonballs.
Due to not being able to get in contact with Mr. Beast to get the stuff cleaned up
And
out of the area.
you get to keep it.
This is from a Mr. Beast video called Protect the Yacht.
Protect the Yacht. Yeah. They also did like Protect the Lamborghini.
We did ensure the lake was completely cleaned up after this video. For the love of God, subscribe so we can pass it easier.
Yes, he says at the end of the video that they made sure it was cleaned up. I was actually on site for part of this production. I was at this camp. So I decided to send an email out to the camp, basically saying, hey, I heard these rumors, I'm investigating similar incidents. And the camp responded, actually not denying the claims, going on to say, I am sure that there are no perfect film productions, just as there are no perfect people. I am grateful for the opportunity that we had to host the production crew, and because grace, or forgiveness, has been offered to me so freely, I will choose to offer the same. So clearly alluding to the fact that there was a wrongdoing by Mr. Beast's production team. And that's like sort of the thing is, if you're around Greenville, you know these stories of people working with Mr. Beast and it being extremely unprofessional, them not doing what they say. But they sort of get by a lot on their good public image. And like, I mean, this camp offered to host them completely for free. And I guarantee, like, if you went to the lake at the camp and you went magnet fishing, like, you'd find all sorts of debris that's still there to this day. Like, they didn't clean it all up. So in the case of Jake Weddle, like, I'm sure that there were producers who were in a position of, hey, if Jake gets out early, we don't have a video, and your job is at risk. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure on top of like him being delirious from not sleeping and everything to just manipulate him into staying. Which, you know, I'm sure this isn't like technically against the Geneva Convention on torture because he wasn't technically a prisoner. Like, he could have left at any time, but because of the extreme pressure to stay in, it's not really a reasonable expectation that he could have just, you know, walked out.
Because of the implication.
I think Jimmy is a awkward kid who maybe had it a little rough growing up. I can't speak on that, but I do have empathy for it because I had it rough growing up, and I think when you're hyper fixated on something, like I love stand up, he loves YouTube, everyone fixates on a thing. I think he just wanted to be the best YouTuber so bad, and because the industry's metrics, rewarded some not great behavior, if you're just going on autopilot based on what the numbers say, you can do some things.
You can justify anything to make a better video.
But reap reward. And I think Jimmy just did what the industry and maybe what the system that we have set up demanded.
You become a slave to the algorithm in the name of content. A lot of people do that. It would make sense that the people at the highest level would be dealing with that too.
Surrounded himself with
yes men,
really not so great people, and those people were the ones making the decisions. And I want to say, really important, there are so many good people that work at Mr. Beast who are damn good at their jobs. Like,
I believe that.
When Jimmy comes in and asks for something impossible, it's these people's jobs to do it. And they shouldn't be able to make it happen, and they do. And so, I don't think people wanted to talk about stuff because I didn't want my friends to lose their jobs. I don't care about my fucking job. I'll die in the hole. I don't care. But I don't want my friends to lose their jobs. I don't want anyone's reputation to be fucked. But let's just go back to my dad for a second, if I may. My dad was just like a swim coach, neighborhood swim team. Everybody loved him. Behind closed doors, he was a real piece of shit. And so, when stuff started hitting the fan,
Jimmy's line earlier was so bad.
Surely. And then, everyone, thought my mom was the bitch, for not, But then the news broke, that he did what he did to one of the students of the team. And it's like when that comes out, you're not surprised, You just go, when I saw my dad in the news, I said, "Oh, you idiots!" Like I was like, "No, what?" I was, "Oh, dumbass! God damn it!" But I wasn't surprised, and it was just a consequence that's happening to somebody who was really good at avoiding them for a long time. And I don't know, everybody loves Jimmy, and behind closed doors, he is not super great, and that image is cultivated purposefully and intentionally, and it's branding, it's marketing, it's YouTube.
Okay, so I guess, just one final question.
Sure.
Serious note, obviously the Ava Chris Tyson drama, and, that's a known issue of traditional media.
Lawyers in Mr. Beast's team must be scrambling. Oh, for sure.
The, sexual misconduct at the company.
It's crazy. I probably hung out with Ava the most out of the main cast, just because I was on Beast Hacks. Now Beast Reacts. I don't know if it's still out. That was a lot of fun because it was just being sealed and you would be part of the camera. And
they don't do that anymore.
Ava was the only person who was
gaming
willing to film. Everybody else was too busy or didn't want to, and I was just trying to do my job. Sometimes there'd be like an offhanded joke that's a little gross. I mean, I'm a stand-up, so I'm very desensitized to that. I didn't hear anything that was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like when I saw, the reason I messaged you instead of talking to reporters sweetly like I have been was when I saw the Discord stuff. Because when I got there, it was like 2019. So I guess if the timelines add up, that would have been like handled, for lack of a better term. And then they started bringing more people on. Maybe they thought they had that under the rug. All right, we handled that. Now let's bring in some writers.
He talked at the beginning of this video that people were trying to reach out to them, asking what's going to be in this one. And he said the next video will be talking about sexual misconduct, so you can rest assured I do have a part 3 coming. Because he was worried that he was going to drop his response immediately after Mr. Beast had a response. They have a response ready, they just haven't dropped it, is what he said at the beginning. Something to that effect. We'll go back and watch the beginning part.
If you're gonna make fun of my dad, I don't care what happens to me and my career and reputation after this. I had to say some stuff. So whatever happens at this point.
Outside of it, Chris Tyson, did you notice any or hear about any sexual misconduct at the company?
I've heard rumors. I can't confirm or deny anything. I don't have any tangible evidence, but I've heard stuff that if it could be investigated, that'd be great. But it's like water cooler talk. But I've heard things, yes, of course. I heard, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people. The idea that Jimmy didn't know, or that Jimmy was covering stuff up. He didn't want stuff to come out. He's very careful about his image. The tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. How do you prove that, Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender.
What?
On the registry and everything.
Oh my God.
Who worked there. And you can, someone pees in public, you're on the registry, you get it. You can still have a job after you're on.
What?
That's one thing. You go to prison, you get rehabilitated, that's one thing.
Okay.
If you do your time, that's fine. I think there should be rehabilitation in this country. But that guy, from what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. He's working at a
1 to
channel that
11-year-old
has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there.
That's like this generation's Jan Schneider.
He was the manager when it all started. And
Jesus Christ.
That he knew him because he'll be in videos. He'll be in thumbnails. He'll be around. And whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face could be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender? With a physical mask? Do I have to... Is it more on the nose? Or... I don't know why they let him go, because there's rumors back and forth. So I don't know why they let him go, but he didn't leave at one point. Even if that guy didn't do anything.
I guarantee you those videos are gone.
He still knew about it, and he was still around. And what if he's one of the people in the Discord servers? What if he's not? I don't know. But when I was there, they called him Delaware. It's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware. That's his nickname? Colloquially? Yeah, it's Delaware. Don't ask him why. The fuck?
What you know about it?
The likelihood that he didn't know is astronomically low.
Okay, so finally I have a recorded phone conversation. The person on the other end of this line is a different former Mr. Beast employee talking about Delaware. Also, apparently before this phone conversation got recorded, the person on the other end of the line
video is still up.
The Mr. Beast team was actually trying to
I bet it will be gone by morning.
Delaware's record off the registry, and that's what actually sparked this person to start
I guarantee
recording.
you they're watching this right now too. Link that video. We'll pull it up.
Okay, so Reed is Mr. Beast's
That's
former
very
manager, who's in
true.
the last video telling Jimmy, hey, don't promote gambling to children. So I think Reed's taken 2 W's this month. Don't promote gambling to children and don't have offenders on payroll. Also, yeah, just from where I'm sitting, it seems extremely unlikely that Jimmy wouldn't know. But I know that's
I agree.
I'm sure it's the defense he'll go with. So I'll just say preemptively,
that's a very simple background check.
Jimmy didn't know about Delaware. I think
we read the email that they put out.
Such an extreme level of negligence. Like what?
There comes a point where
everyone at your company knows, but somehow you don't know.
Negligence
I think that needs
doesn't
more of an
matter. It becomes maliciously
I
ignorant.
don't know. Well, how didn't you know? How did this person get into the company?
Especially when you get to a point where you even have like 1 million subscribers, right? Like these people make so much money
your lawyers
that not having a proper PR and HR team is ridiculous. You have 300 million subscribers. You can't run a boys club like your business.
And while you respond to that, why not just respond to the allegations of rigging contest videos and selling fake signatures?
Yeah, they still have not done that.
The dangerous conditions on the set of these.
Maybe he didn't have HR yet. Maybe.
So yeah, just let us know. Okay, that was my interview with former Mr. Beast employee Jake Weddle. I know he will be coming out with a longer cut of this interview as well as other content.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I just wanted to shout him out. Jake Weddle, top link in the description.
This guy, I can distinctly remember like 4 or 5 of these. Dear God. Yeah, okay. Here, I'm gonna click this. Yeah, we don't want to watch that.
We will be spending
24 straight hours in an insane asylum. Yeah. Well, it's still there. He should have had HR a long time ago. I said that at the beginning of this video. I'm going to refresh this and see if, or I'm just going to go to his channel and see if I can watch this video. Yeah, okay, here we go. This is a 50-minute video. I want to show you the beginning and like what he said about the future stuff, because I know some of you guys came in at the middle.
What we do here is go back.
Here, hold on.
Again, so just before I get into my interrogation of former Mr. Beast employee Jake Weddle, a lot has happened since my last video.
He put some screenshots up that I want to read to you. I couldn't pause it while it was on Premiere, I don't think.
Former employment, just people showing this.
Just watch your video, and I don't know if people are accusing you of not working at Beast, but bro, I feel like your experiences with higher-ups the same as mine, and the way you mentioned specifically pitching ideas for the Feastables bar is 100% how it was creating pitches as a writer. The whole brand is shady, and the company is as well.
Telling their story.
No, not about Chris, but this was some producer. I unfortunately can't speak too much on that, but I believe someone else who reached out to you has more info on it. Big thing I can talk about is how much other stakeholders had their time and energy wasted. I was asked to get doctors and orgs fired up about working with us, only to pull the rug on them after agreeing to arrangements. It was quite uncomfortable for me. Big reason why I left, but not the biggest. There was just so much malevolence and hostility within the team. They were way too slow to axe one pretty awful team lead in particular. That's probably Delaware.
Stories of fake videos.
Tyler Conklin on the set of Saving 100 Dogs bought one of the employees' dogs off them for $10,000 in a weird power play to see if he could pay someone enough to give up their dog instead of just adopting any of the 100 rescue dogs at the shelter. My God. Tyler also forced the production to put his dog into the video, Charlie Corgi, so he could receive the free dog food and pet insurance for life, despite the fact the dog already had a home and that he's very wealthy, keeping a real rescue dog from being adopted and a new pet owner that could have used the free pet food and insurance from receiving it.
Unsafe practices.
In the world's most dangerous trap video with Mac, the reason Mac loses when he does is that was actually the final trap built. There were no other rooms, so Mac purposefully took a dive at the last possible moment. Okay. Work conditions. It is not uncommon to see people sleeping in the office because they worked all night. The higher-ups routinely mock the idea of work-life balance. Everyone that works there is very aware of how awful the company is for one's mental health and the ability to maintain relationships outside of Beast. During COVID, Tyler Conklin routinely made fun of COVID regulations while actively having and transmitting to COVID to multiple members of the crew. The new dangerous conditions of the Amazon show are not new. Multiple contestants were sent to the hospital on the Olympics video due to the sets being built last second and not appropriately tested for safety. That's a big claim. All of that. Holy shit.
Toxic workplace, stuff like that.
Hold on. I didn't know there was going to be another one.
Fake videos or unsafe practices, toxic work.
Without really being able to prove the details, I can say that many of the people who received free hearing aids in North Carolina would have gotten them for free/cheap anyways, even without Mr. Beast's intervention. Also can speak to the overall malevolence and unprofessionalism of Jimmy, Tyler/James Warren. I don't know who James Warren is. Oh, and Jimmy being an environmentalist with the Team Trees and Team Seas as a joke. The dude has a massive carbon footprint. That's probably true. Some stuff I heard about secondhand is also alarming. Some stuff about an executive after my time, SA.
Stuff like that. I'm not really going to get into those claims because, for one, most people want to stay anonymous, which I understand. And also, I think most of that stuff's just been covered with the news coming out about Beast Games and everything. And also, I have, more serious allegations that I want to start covering. Also, I heard from a very credible source that Mr. Beast has been sitting on a response to Part 1 because he was worried if he posted it, I would instantly respond with Part 2, like this is Kids Bop, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. Also, I know Mr. Beast's secret CEO has been practically harassing my people on, hey, what's in Part 2? What does he know? So I will just tell you, James, what will be in Part 3, so you don't have to harass my people. It will be about serious allegations of
that's the Chris Tyson one for sure.
And your direct involvement in covering up those crimes. And I'll make sure to give you full credit and plaster your face all over the screen when we talk about that. So yeah, I've gotten dozens of messages from former Mr. Beast employees about very serious allegations. So I just want to put a call to action at the start of this video that, if you have a story, you can DM me. Just make sure you send proof of employment first, because I get a lot of DMs. And as much as I meme and joke around, I take anonymity very seriously, so with that.
He was a lot more serious in this video than he was in the first one. I feel like showing screenshots from people not making jokes about being on shrooms or looking schizophrenic, that. I think he heard what people were saying, having watched this full video. This was a far better piece, I think, than his first one. Even though I think his first video is good, he did walk away with some criticism. I don't think he will with this one at all.
Without explicit permission, I don't go public with anything. And obviously, if it goes to court, I would hope they would censor your.
I think he's going to go to court. This is going to get bad.
I heard in my last video was during the 100 Boys versus Girls video. I have people corroborating the same.
There's some more screenshots here too.
The camera guy who gave the girls a drone.
I know in the 100 Boys versus Girls video that they fed us boys hours after girls each time, and it really got on our nerves because it became blatantly obvious they wanted the girls to win. I know that the camera guy who gave the girls the drone was being extremely inappropriate with the girls since I started talking to them after the shoot, made them feel very uncomfortable. Did you see or hear anyone on the production staff acting inappropriately with contestants? Yes, I don't remember his name, but the guy who gave the girl a drone in the video was constantly coming into the circle and being very flirtatious with some of the girls, which was so weird given the circumstances. I remember hearing girls joke about Stockholm Syndrome, but given how many of us were sleep deprived and high on paint fumes, it honestly makes sense. And there's the proof that they're in the challenge. This is Dogpack. I was DM'd by another contestant in that video that said one of the male employees on the production team was making some girls feel uncomfortable. They told me who it was, but I'm wondering if you can corroborate the story. Did you see or hear anything about this? I have no idea the guy's name, but someone does come to mind. Nothing particular happened to me, but I believe he was one of the cameramen. He was constantly vaping, and I remember he teased/taunted a few girls who were jealous of him having a vape. Personally, I avoided most of the crew, so I can't say I experienced anything inappropriate by any of the staff. Also, great video, bro. You really opened my mind to a lot of stuff I was ignoring just because I got paid and saw him in such a positive light. That's a very true thing. A lot of people just get caught up in like the whole idea of somebody doing good things for the sake of doing them. You know, like there could always be reason as to why. Is Mr. Beast untouchable? In terms of like legally, yeah, probably. In terms of public opinion, no. The only thing that could really be a GG is if like they have an actual case file being built about like all this Ava Chris Tyson stuff, and Mr. Beast is obviously linked to that, which if he has people around him that are like very smart and meticulous and ruthless, that's not the thing. I don't think public opinion will change too much. Well, his core audience won't, because they're all like a bunch of children that don't really understand the ramifications of what this is, right? Like they don't care. They like their favorite YouTuber and they're going to buy the chocolate bar. They don't understand that they're being tricked into buying this thing and thinking, oh, I'll win a bunch of free stuff, like he talked about in the last video. You know, like I don't know,
making some girls feel uncomfortable.
But we know he's got a third video on the way, so we'll see. It doesn't look like it's a good place to work at, you know. Let me see. I want to find this guy's. Where is Delaware? I want to see that guy's sheet. It has to be somewhere. Was it further back? Because I didn't pause at all watching. Amazon pulls from him. I mean, they'll drop it for sure. There's no way.
There are so many good people that work at Mr. Beast who are damn stuff start coming out. And the potentiality, as of this moment of recording, you know, I know this has been happening.
All right, here, hold on.
But he was like the manager when it all started.